Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A. For today's video, I will be fertilizing the garden. I fertilize the garden twice a year. Once at the end of February and a second time at the end of June. So let's get started. Okay, so these are the two guys that I've been using for the last couple of years, and I've intertwined some other things too, but I always come back to these because I feel like they do me well in the garden. So we have plant tone, we have rose tone. You can use plant tone for your entire garden if you wanted, and you can also use rose tone if you wanted because rose tone is not just for roses. So let me show you my process. I make sure I have my gloves on, I make sure I have a mask on because this particular thing here, it's organic and all, but this still actually smells kind of stinky. You don't want it to be in your nasal cavity or in your mouth or anything. So want to make sure that you actually have gloves on and you have on clothes that you don't really care about, and you can have on a mask so that you don't inhale this stuff. All right, guys, so this is what it looks like. In the plant tone, they pretty much all look the same, but usually what I do is I grab a handful of fertilizer, and I'm using this bed as an example. This bed has my Diamond Spire gardenia, my Encore azaleas, and a Pearl Glam beautyberry that is right in the middle there. And what I do is I fertilize the soil. I fertilize the organic material. I don't fertilize the plant. So normally I would just like come in, take a handful and kind of throw it randomly in here. Just throw it all over. Now, if you have a plant that takes a lot of fertilizer or requires a lot of fertilizer to produce, you might want to do this, where you grab some fertilizer, you kind of put it around the root ball. So this is the Diamond Spire, and you come around, and I don't pull back my mulch because, again, this will get watered in when it rains or when you water it. No need for me to kind of go directly on every single plant and throw fertilizer around them because the plant is taking the nutrients from the soil, right? So I just kind of just throw it in there. And that's pretty much that for that bed. All right, so this is one of the longer beds. This is the bed in the center of the yard, in the backyard, and it is in the front. And I have a lot of perennials in here. I have my, I have sedum, I have daisies and salvia and orange rocket barberry, roses, all kinds of stuff. So again, I just grab it by the handful. And I don't move the mulch because when you move the mulch, you're actually creating a weeds a chance to kind of seep through. I put cardboard down and then I put mulch, and even with that, the weeds still they still find a way in. So me pulling this back at a time when the temperature is great, the weeds will actually love that, and all of a sudden you're going to see a lot of weeds. So I don't. Again, I'm fertilizing the soil, not the plant. So here we have some salvia here that I cut back the other day. Here's some lilies coming out the ground here. I'm just going to throw it there. They're going to take it up, guys. Look at those lilies right there coming out. And I'm just going to throw it around. If it's a rose, then I'll probably come in closer and kind of throw it around the rose like that because they are heavy feeders. But I don't do that for every single plant. These are my knockout roses. These are either ruby red or cherry red. And I'm just going to throw it in there. I just do that for the entire bed. Not only, it's a money-saving thing too, guys. Now, imagine if I had to come in here and throw fertilizer at every single root ball. I would run out of money. See, here are my two Autumn Joy sedums. I'm just going to throw the fertilizer like that. Just throw it like that. The plant knows what to do with it. Yes, it's landing on the leaves, but that will get washed off with the rain. It will find its way into the ground, guys. Don't worry about that. I know a lot of folks actually pull their stuff back, and you should for certain things, but this is the process that I use, and I've been using this process for 4 years, and you guys have seen my garden tours. You've seen what my plants look like without me having to fertilize directly on every root ball. And I'm just taking a handful, coming down. Here are the daisies. Just kind of throw it around. Just throw the fertilizer. That's the process, guys. Nothing scientific about it. The rose tone fertilizer looks a little bit different, a little bit even more granular. So this is what it looks like. And it's the same idea, except for the fact that I will come directly on the roses. Roses are heavy feeders and they want that. So I'm just throwing it around my Walmart roses. That one was, I believe, Love and Peace. Here's a Mr. Lincoln. I'm just throwing it there. Here's a Della Reese, and I'm just throwing it on here. I'm not removing the mulch. Okay, here's Gold Glow. They're already putting out new foliage, guys. You see that? That's my Walmart roses, 3 years old and looking great. Now I have to come in here and prune this, and that's a lot of canes, guys. This is a recipe for disaster when it comes to a rose. So I'll be coming in and probably bringing this down to 5 canes. Here's another rose here, and this one has got damage from all that snow. As you can see, the right here is too high up. So when we had all that snow and rain and all that stuff, it really damaged that plant. It's still alive. I had to cut this off, cut that off, pull it, take it out the ground and make it deeper so that this is not as exposed as it is right now. But all I'm going to do is just use the fertilizer. Because it's a rose, I'm going to put it right there. Also in this bed I have crepe myrtles, but they have not woken up yet. But this thing won't really work until it gets the soil at a certain temperature. So even though I'm putting that now, I'm not expecting that this is going to really do too much, because it only works when certain things are happening in the soil. And it's just too cold for that. Even though it's not cold, it's just not the right temperature for that. Right? Here's another one there. So those were the roses, and I have my other rose bed that's specific to roses. Here are my cathedral bells, looking really, really nice. And again, I'm just going to throw it in there. Right here, throw it in there. I have got my Rio Samba right here. Just throw the roses around it, throw the fertilizer around it, and that's that. Here's a back bed that a lot of stuff are still in the ground. They haven't poked their heads out yet, but they're underneath there. I've got Liatris underneath here. I've got Liatris. I have, what's the other one called? Dahlias are still under the ground. But I'm just going to fertilize the whole thing so when things warm up, they will already have it. This fertilizer will last until June, and they'll be all great. So I could use the rose tone, or I could finish up with the plant tone. It doesn't really matter, but right now the rose tone is right. I'm just going to do it. Again, just grab a handful and just throw it all around here. I will be buying more mulch to kind of cover these leaves so it could look a little bit more refined. So it's not exposed. We'll cover this up. And again, once it rains, it will be all good for this fertilizer, guys. Let me know how you fertilize, and if you go the individual route, or if you don't fertilize at all, because I know some folks don't fertilize because they don't think it actually makes a difference, and they say stuff like, people just trying to get you to buy stuff. But I find that when I fertilize, my plants do really, really well. Let me know what you think. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Remember, hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my videos. Thank you guys so much for all your wonderful comments, all your positive comments. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.